The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in this studio, returning Kelly Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for being on the program.
It is my pleasure to be here. I thought it was about time that I got back down here to Corning and had a nice chat with you.
Yes, and of course, it's always nice to visit beautiful Market Street.
It is. I love Market Street, even though I'm not really good with my sense of direction, as we were just talking about. So I have to have guidance on which direction to go. I know which direction my car is in, but
that's all that matters.
When I look for other stuff, I'm never sure where to park.
Totally understand. So before we start off, because there is obviously some pressing issues we have to bring up, let's talk about where you came from, because I think this is great. Tell us about the Corning retiree group you got to speak in front of.
Yes, I was very fortunate that Legislator Lando offered me the opportunity to speak this morning to the Corning Retirees Group.
Oh, that's great.
And they didn't really have any other speaker. They didn't have any other agenda. And so fortunately, I was able to wing it for about 45 minutes.
Perfect.
But they didn't know who I was.
Yeah, okay.
So I got to tell them all about my childhood, how I ended up in New York, how I ended up on the legislature, and realistically, how I ended up as chair. And when you hear yourself talking about it, it's really a cool story.
It is, yeah.
And they had a lot of interesting questions. And we covered some of the positive things that have been going on in the county and my approach to how to run the county. I mean, I'm not the CEO. Jack, the county manager, is our CEO, but he takes guidance from me.
Sure.
And so it's time for me to step up and give him that guidance, and that has been fun to talk about, and it was fun to share with that group.
So, not official number, but how long has it been that you've been chair?
A little over a year and a half.
Wow, time flies.
It does, and we reorganize in January, so I hope to continue as the chair for the next 2 years as well.
Oh, great. We just made that announcement live here on Frankly Speaking. No.
That is right. Fortunately, there's only 17 that I have to pander to for that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, one of the reasons I'm glad that you're here, because there was a kind of, I wouldn't say a miscommunication, there's some confusion, and I thought I did good, and I think at the end of the day, if you watch the whole interview, it kind of explained it. But could you clarify the appeal on the decision by the decision from the New York State Supreme Court that found for the sheriff, we are now in the appeal process, kind of what your take on it is and where we're at?
Absolutely. I think it was a little bit confusing for any of the constituents that happened to hear the story. Some of the confusion lies in the fact that the appeal has to be filed with the same name of the case as it was originally filed.
Okay.
So if you open up the appeal documents, it talks about Steuben County, it talks about County Manager Jack Wheeler, it talks about the previous chairman Scott Van Etten in this litigation with Sheriff Allard.
Right.
The reality of the situation is that the legislature voted in January on a 10-7 vote, which you reported in your conversation with the sheriff, against moving forward with an appeal.
Right.
Jack's decision was to follow what the majority of the legislature's decision was.
Sure.
And so that left the previous chairman, Scott, to make a decision on whether or not he wanted that court decision to be appealed.
Okay.
And he decided, yes, I want that to be appealed.
Okay.
And so here we are.
So here we are. So it almost starts from scratch now. Well, let me put it this way, because we had a viewer write in, and they said, I would love to know what Kelly's opinion is on this appeal, and if she thinks there is traction this time, and if so, why? What's different, and what prompted this?
My opinion is that it should be left in the past. We should not be appealing this. We should be moving forward. And that has been my position on this since I took over.
Right.
I was pressuring the county management team a lot to try to get a decision on this matter. I was very excited when we got the decision, because it simply meant that we could move forward.
Right.
But that is not what is happening. It won't necessarily get more traction. What it is the opportunity for another judicial system to take a look at Judge Cook's decision and determine whether or not the decision is correct.
Right. And I guess what's frustrating about this to a lot of people and to a lot of viewers too is not just the appeal. Maybe we thought this whole story was over, like you said, put it in the past, but now it's just such a long, drawn-out process. And that's one of the reasons I think people got confused with all the interviews when we talk about this, because we would really have to spend a whole show recapping this, because it's been a 2-year process.
Yes, it takes way too long for anything in county government, and especially in the judicial system, for them to sort through what needs to be done and produce the paperwork. So even now, I believe there is the opportunity for the sheriff's attorney to respond.
Okay.
I think we get the opportunity to respond to that, and then the judicial system makes its decision.
Wow.
And I don't know how long that would take. I would love for that to be quick, but that is just not typically the case. I have no idea what else they have on their plate and other things they have to do.
No, and there were some extensions to the appeal and things like that. That all adds up. And like you say, 2 years into it, I think that's why there's a little confusion here. But to me, and I don't know, I'll ask the question this way. It seemed like before this was appealed, there seemed to be a better relationship with the sheriff. It seemed like there was some positive news coming out with the legislature and the sheriff. Do you think this affects that?
I do.
Yeah.
I think that we have, and particularly since I took over as chair, it has been my mission to bring us all together to
Right.
work as a collaborative group. We may not always agree,
Right.
and it's not necessary for us to agree. We all come from different backgrounds, we represent different districts, and those districts have different needs.
Of course.
So it's very important for us to work together as a unit. We have done things and promoted the sheriff's initiatives, and I would tell you that on his programs and the things that he has done with his department, he probably has unanimous support of the legislature. But when we have the appeal hit,
Right.
and his interview hit the station last week, I believe it
Yeah.
was,
A week from today.
I feel somewhat bad about that.
Sure.
Because in order to get to the position where he felt his only choice was to litigate, there were a lot of missiles and mudflinging going back and forth between him and members of the legislature and the management team. And that kind of behavior has now stopped because I won't tolerate it. But it hasn't stopped on his side.
See.
And I would think that the continued barrage of comments about the county management and the county being broken and the legislature not following proper procedure, it undermines their feelings for him, and it makes them feel like no matter how hard they work, it's not going to repair the relationship.
I was smiling the whole time only because there's little kids waving behind
Oh,
me.
that's
I should
okay.
So I don't want people to get different reactions. I got to be a stoic journalist here.
There you go. There you
I'm
go.
sorry. I don't know if they can see that in the background. So let's move on from this topic, but I know it is a major issue. I mentioned it on the program with the sheriff. Do you get a lot of people commenting on this story specifically?
No.
Okay.
Most people that I speak to don't even know what I'm talking about.
Really?
Now, I do see some comments about it. Certainly when the sheriff posts some things on Facebook, we see it. But for the most part, I would tell you that the sheriff has 100% support on his initiatives and programs in his department.
Gotcha. Okay, you mentioned that this is about a year and a half that you've been chair. Has there been anything thus far that surprised you?
Things that surprise me. Trying to get the county management team to understand my different type of management strategy.
Sure.
I believe that my constituents, when they ask me questions, even if it's only one, I should address that question. And if it requires being addressed at committee meeting or at main legislative meeting, we should do that. There are legislators that think if only one constituent is asking me a question, I should just ignore it.
Right.
And I don't think that that's appropriate. I think that it's appropriate for my people to know they can ask me a question and I'm going to see it through. I think that the way government moves so slow, we got our ARPA funds and we established the high-speed internet program, 2-3 years ago? And my road still doesn't have
Sure.
the Empire high-speed internet
Yeah.
that we have been working on. So I don't understand why some of those things can go so slow. But for the most part, I think the biggest thing that surprises me is my ability to adapt, my ability to create what I think that this chairmanship should be. And I feel like I'm really getting some traction on doing that, hitting my groove, and I feel really good about it.
That's great. Do you have this, and I think most local governments at this point have it, do you see a scenario where there'll be more interaction with the public? Because like you said, you do have people bring certain issues to you, I'm sure. But wouldn't it be nice to have even more conversations with your constituents and with members of the voting community?
I think that that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes we get some of our best ideas from people
too.
that are outside the government. And we need to be open to those ideas. They can email us, but their participation in committee meetings is subject to the approval of the chair.
Okay.
And so it's not an easy process for a member of the public if they want to participate or communicate. So I think that they need to continue to ask for those opportunities, and know on my end I'll try to get them as many opportunities as they want.
So what's new at the legislature? I should have started with that, I suppose.
Sure. We have so many positive things that are going on, and one of those positive things is our new communications director. He is such an asset. He's younger than the rest of us, so that means he is so adept at the modern technology, and he uses all of it so well.
Oh, that's great.
We really appreciate that. I don't use modern technology, and when I do need to use it, I have to call my son in Buffalo and say, can you help me do this?
How do I do this? Yeah.
His young, enthusiastic approach and his positive work ethic and the positive remarks and things that he puts out for us are great. He's posting job opportunities for the county. He's posting our proclamations. He's posting letters that come through from legislators. It's really important to have somebody that's on top of that information so that the communities know what we're doing.
Yes.
We have awarded recently 2 law enforcement grants. One was for the Village of Bath, and unfortunately, off the top of my head, maybe it was Wayland. We have law enforcement grants, so we will match funds for law enforcement agencies to buy equipment and to do other things to improve the safety within their community. Right. So that has been a great addition. We have the development grants that are administered by Explore Steuben. That's the Steuben County Conference and Visitors Bureau. And we have given them access to funds that they can award to local artists, which improves the area, improves our tourism, and improves the artist's ability to become more well-known.
Yeah.
So these are wonderful opportunities. We started a business roundtable. One of the things that I instructed our committee chairs to do is, rather than create goals for the county, let's create priorities. Our department heads are the ones who would be able to create the goals, but they need to know what the legislative priorities are. And one of them is to help small business. So we did have a business roundtable meeting in Hammondsport, and we are going to plan for more of those. The problem is we need to plan them around busy season.
Right.
We want everybody to be able to work during busy season, during tourist season. And what we're going to do is find out, what resources do business owners need? Do they need human resources? Do they need funds? What links to resources can we give them? And that was initiated by our Ag Industry and Planning Committee, which is headed by Mike Hanna.
Oh, sure.
So that's another wonderful opportunity.
Now, are you concerned, or what are the conversations looking like at the legislature as we talk about cuts from the state?
We are absolutely concerned about cuts from the state. The further overriding concern is cuts from the federal government. Everybody in this community, everybody in this state and this country knows both federal and state governments need to cut their spending.
Right.
If we lived the way the state government and the federal government did, we would all be in the poorhouse, living under a bridge, in a cardboard box. You can't continue to overspend your budgets. However, governments are service agencies. We have to look overall at all of the services that we provide. So with the big, beautiful bill, that may save taxes on the federal level, but I do believe that the state policy will not be to cut services to local people that need those services. So I would think that we're going to have to dig deeper into taxpayers' pockets in order to provide the services that people have become accustomed to.
And we've got 2 things I want to end on, both positive stories. One, we were talking off there, and I thought maybe you could mention this about, and I love this group, I've talked with them in the past, the Youth in Government program. Is that what it's called?
I love the Youth in Government program. You know, here's an opportunity for members of the school, young people involved in modern technology, to learn about our local government, how it operates, and what ideas they can come up with. It culminates with their own mock session where each one of those youth and government students has to come up with a resolution to present to their fellow legislators.
Right.
The one that came up is a student from Corning Painted Post. She wanted to come up with a group of local women that are in government I would expand it to local women in any organization. And honestly, I would think we would want to include anyone who wants to join.
Yep, for
And
better
realistically, it's how do we build each other up? How do we work on someone else's concerns or their fears when they're working with a government agency? My own personal concerns, I mean, I come here, I speak, I stumble a little bit, but that doesn't bother me. I was a tour guide for a couple of years way back when in my youth. And so I'm not afraid to come in here and speak, but someone else might be concerned.
Of course,
It gives us the opportunity to collaborate, to work together, to network, and anything we can do to make any person work better, work in their community, and collaborate is a good effort.
I'd love to see the stats on youth in government. I wonder if some of those students, because it's been going on for quite some time, if they ever got into government.
I believe Scott Van Etten was in Youth in Government and is a legislator now.
Interesting.
So it certainly helps because most people tell me they have no idea what their county, local governments do.
No.
And in fact, one of the retirees specifically asked me that question. You know, there's state government, there's county government, there are towns, villages. How do I even know which one I'm supposed to go to? And I said, well, if you pay village taxes, I would start with the village first. And if they don't provide the service, they'll send you where you need to go.
Perfect. All right, last question. Are you ready for the fair?
I am. I love the fair.
I know.
It is my favorite opportunity to go in and eat horrible food.
Exactly.
And wander around and see the pig races.
Of course.
And see all the other things. And what's funny in our community is that I know the director, Nick Pelham, and he has been a good friend for a long, long time. And he says that anything that has an engine and wheels brings people to the fair.
It's true.
So that is the direction that it has gone. We don't really bring in musical events because they're too costly and you can't really make money at those. But put a tractor in there that's pulling something heavy and we're all about it, or throw a bunch of cars in there and have them smash each other to pieces. We're ready to go.
Nothing more popular. Why is it that the horrible food is the best tasting?
I don't know, but I sure love deep fried Oreos.
I know, me too. Kelly Fitzpatrick has been our guest. Thanks for giving us so much time this morning. We'll have to do it again soon.
I absolutely love it.
All right, enjoy the fair.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back for Frankly Speaking. Stay